Share it, please. The podcast is available. The Melanated Convo podcast, Talking to My People, is available on all streaming platforms. So if you have Google Podcasts, if you have Apple Podcasts, you can go to any of these streaming platforms and check out the show there as well. So again, man, I want to welcome everybody to a brand new show. Let's get into it. Like I said, in a minute, we're going to get to the topic, which is why your kids don't like your new woman. We're going to dig deep into that. But first, let's get to these news stories. No, I'm sorry. First, let's get to the black businesses. And this particular business right here is really just an author, right? So me being, I always mention this because this is kind of like the reason, like one of the reasoning for my platforms, Melanated Fathers of America, is based on me having 5 children. Like I say a lot, me having 5 children, the different, the turmoil that I've put myself through having these kids, the different drama that I've put their mothers through. It's been a long road, which has actually led me here. So I wouldn't take anything back because I wouldn't have my platform if I didn't go through the particular trials and tribulations I went through with these women, right? So this author that I want to talk to y'all about today, and this is our Black Business Spotlight section. And also, if you haven't been to the website lately, please go to melanatedfathers.com, melanatedfathers.com. Subscribe to the website so you could be alerted when we drop new news stories or drop new videos or whatever the case may be. So let's get this thing going, family. So this is a sister named Rahmaan. Kenya Rahmaan, her last name is spelled Rahmaan. Kenya has written a book called The Child Support Hustle, right? Like it was really, when I seen this article, it was extremely important for me to talk about this, even to the point where I'm gonna have somebody from her organization on the show next week because this is such a conversation that's so close to me. You know what I mean? Being, like I said, a father of 5, I've been on I'm not on child support anymore. My oldest kid that I had that was on child support turned 18 in October, so I don't pay child support no more. Well, no current child support, but just in general, just seeing this sister's book, and I've actually ordered the book as well because I think it's powerful. We need to get an understanding of how these institutions kind of play us against each other, right? We need to get an understanding of just being black people in America. We already have a lot of systematic things to deal with, in the child support system is one of these things. So the sister wrote a book called The Child Support Hustle, where she talks about the different interest rates. She talks about the return on investment in many states. You know what I mean? As far as how these states are charging us interest for our kids. She talks about how it's a separation, how being on child support, being involved in that system, putting this company in the middle of your relationship, in the middle of your situation, really can't do you no good. You feel me? So let me read a little bit about her actual book. And I'm excited, man. I can't wait to get the book in the mail so I can actually read it. I'm going to put it on the website as a book of the month as well. This is important. So for all my fathers out there, it's like a warning, man. We need to be clear on what can happen if you put yourself in a situation where you're having kids with women that you don't know too well, or having kids with women that you haven't built like a solid relationship with. And when that system comes into play, it can drive a wedge between not just you and the woman, but you and your kids as well. You feel me? So Mrs. or Miss Rahmaan has discovered how to use, Miss Rahmaan has discovered how the use of inaccurate labels has caused destruction amongst parents who live in separate households. Now, the term fatherless has been heavily indoctrinated into our psyche. We have been convinced that because the father does not live in the same home as the mother and the child, that he's not active in the child's life, and this is far from the truth. You can be an active father without living in the same household as your child, based on Kenya's findings, and that speaks to me personally because my 4 older children has never lived with me. But just to keep it real, y'all, even though they would just come over on the weekends, during the week, I'm preparing for them. During the week, I'm making sure things is right so when they get here on the weekend. During the week, I'm talking to them and making sure things is going good in school. So just because you don't now, of course, let's keep it real. It's preferred that you do live in the house with your kids and your children's mother. But if that's not the case, you can still be a dedicated father and not actually live with your children in in society we get a bad rap sometimes because they make it seem as if you're not in the home, you can't be a dedicated and really detailed father when it comes to what your children need. You feel me? So let me see what else I want to say here. So based on Kenya's findings, so she goes on to explain how it is beneficial for the state to mislabel two household families as of two. And I'll read a little bit more before I go on to the next business. But this is powerful to me, y'all. Like, this sister writing this book is important. And again, it speaks to a lot of the things that I've been through. So I really appreciate it. Now, as of 2019, the Office of Child Support Enforcement, or OCSE, reported that the national average for the return on investment, ROI, for every dollar spent on the child support program, was $5.06. Some states have reported an ROI in double figures. For example, Texas and South Dakota reported a ROI of $11.81 and $11.68 respectfully. So understand that, family, because I've looked at my child support statement before, and just like on some real shit, I'm looking at the statement and I see the amount that's due and I see interest. I'm thinking, interest on what? A goddamn human life? Interest on my child? You know what I mean? So I've never felt comfortable being involved in that system. Now, granted, as parents, mothers and fathers, we need to do a better job making sure that system isn't needed. Because if your girl gets on welfare, child support's gonna come for you immediately, you know what I mean, or after a minute, but they will be coming. So if your girl's on welfare, you're gonna end up paying child support. If you are not in communication with the woman and she's being vindictive, or you not giving her enough money, whatever the case may be, if there's a lack in communication, this child support system can always be used, and we need to keep it real. Like the sister that I'm gonna have on the show next week, she was talking to me about the fact that when she comes on the show, she wants to talk to females about the child support system, because females allow that system to be placed in the middle of their relationship. They allow that system, some females, not all, let's be honest, or let's keep it real, not all, but some females allow that system to come in the middle of her and the dude, and now it's like the child support system is the daddy. You know what I mean? She's referring to them instead of allowing you to be the father you need to be. So we need to do, so as a community, we need to do a better job of keeping these people out of our goddamn business. You know what I mean? So if you want to order the book, which I recommend everybody do so, you feel me? If you want to order the book, The Child Support Hustle, family, go to thechildsupporthustle.com. The book is only $10. If you know a young father, this is the thing. If you know a young father who isn't paying child support yet, regardless of the situation with the young woman, get him this book. Like, he needs to read this kind of information. He needs to be aware of what can happen if you allow this system to play y'all against each other. Because at the end of the day, we don't really need that system at all. If we have problems, if we have disagreements, we should be able to deal with this shit on our own without going to the fucking white man to help us out. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So everybody go to thechildsupporthustle.com, thechildsupporthustle.com. Purchase the book. If you're a person who you don't pay child support, you haven't had to be in that unfortunate situation, but if you know somebody, you know a young dude, you know a young girl, get this book, man, so we can begin to govern ourselves. That's pretty much what it's about, y'all. Governing ourselves, like being self-sufficient and not needing this system, because this system has already set up hella roadblocks to keep us away from each other. You know what I mean? We don't need to contribute to that art on our own. So go to thechildsupporthustle.com. Get that book for somebody you know. Christmas is coming up, family. Christmas is coming up, even though I don't rock with Christmas like that. Christmas is coming up. This can be a great gift for somebody in your life. And honestly, y'all, these are the type of gifts you should get people. You know what I mean? Buying people shit that's going to be not of use in a couple months, or clothing, or all this materialistic shit. In my mind now, even though, like I said, I don't rock with Christmas like that, because I understand the historical relevance and all these pagan and fake holidays. But at the end of the day, get people gifts that they can use. Get people gifts that's actually going to feed their mind and feed their thought process. That's more beneficial than some goddamn shoes. You know what I mean? So go to thechildsupporthustle.com today. Buy that book by my girl Kenya Rahmaan. Now, second business. I said I was only going to talk about this business 2 weeks in a row, but it's important to me, man, because this business, which is On Code Clothing Company, again, speaks to me personally because on my show, in my life, really, I preach a lot to black folks about being on code, like having a code of conduct. What is a code of conduct? How we treat each other, how we talk to each other, how we conversate with each other, how we talk about each other in front of company, how we support black businesses or not. Like there's a lot of things we can do in our community where we staying on code. You know what I mean? So that's important to me. So oncodeclothing.com, if you go to the website, I like the clothing line because it has a lot of empowering messages on the shirts, like Black History in the Making. It talks a lot about the benign neglect policy and how to get rid of that, which if many of you aren't aware, I think the 1950s or 60s, I may be a little wrong on that, but the benign neglect policy was a policy that was created because when we were at a time where we were rioting and there was a lot of social unrest in this country, the government at the time did a study, right? The Monahan report, I think it is, yeah, did a study where they researched why are we so mad, right? Like why are we rioting? Why are we burning down shit? And what they came up with was they was promising us shit. They was telling us they were gonna do things, and said thing never happened. So because of that, we riot, we protest, we do all these things. Right now, what they said was, okay, all we gotta do is don't offer them nothing no more. That's the benign neglect policy. Also, there are sweaters for women, leggings for women, and like I said, shirts with Mansa Musa. They have face masks available. They have a HBCU collection. So all my brothers and sisters who graduated from HBCUs, it's all the different shirts and gear for those particular schools. And like I said on the last show, even if you never went to a HBCU, just showing your appreciation for an all black college, because we got to be real, a lot of all black colleges turn out a lot of sufficient black professionals who went through that great experience and now they're in the world teaching, doctors, all different kind of professions. So we need to salute HBCUs. You know what I mean? From that regard. Also, like I said, there's a 2020 collection where the 2020 collection just talks about different things we've been through this year as far as COVID is concerned, as far as these presidential candidates not necessarily having black agendas. So man, look, again, it's Christmas time, holiday season. Even if you don't want to get somebody something for Christmas, I'm sure it's somebody's birthday in your family, right? I'm sure it's somebody's birthday, or you just want to get somebody a gift. Go to oncodeclothing.com, oncodeclothing.com, because we definitely need a code in our community, and we need to wear clothes that speaks to who we are as black folks, who we are as melanated people, right? Again, we spend a lot of money with fashion designers and people outside of our community. Let's circumvent some of those funds back to the black community. And one way you can do that is by supporting black businesses. Family, again, though, like I said, qualified black businesses, and this is definitely a qualified black business. So go to oncodeclothing.com, oncodeclothing.com, pick up some gear for Christmas, and then go to thechildsupporthustle.com and get that book for somebody in your life so they can get some good game about how to avoid the pitfalls of the child support system. Family, so let's get everything going, man. Let's see here. Now, first news story, something I want to talk about, right? This is a story